There is no better time than now to become the person that you're meant to be. Most people give up on their healthy habits when summer comes around. They use summer as an excuse to indulge in their temptations or neglect their goals. But we all know how this ends. As time goes by, you end up feeling unfulfilled because you're not mindfully growing as the person you know you can be. And that goes against what you truly care about, your personal transformation. Look, you're here because you're not like everybody else. You're not meant to stay average. But that still requires you to do the work to do things differently. And that's why this self-improvement challenge this summer is perfect for you. Use the high energy of summer to try new habits instead of ending the summer with regrets. Like I said, there is no better time than now to become the best version of yourself. So I'm familiar with creating challenges. I've been doing it for a year now. But if you don't know who I am, my name is Bianca St. George and I'm a professional soccer player. And the reason why I started doing challenges is because I was doing them for myself. I realized that it transformed me. The reason I came about this was a few years ago, I had such a big injury that it almost made me retire from sports. And that freaked me out because I had no idea who I was outside of being an athlete. I had no self-worth, basically. So then I started my self-improvement journey to develop and try to figure out who I was outside of being an athlete. But self-improvement can be hard. Change is hard. Getting out of your comfort zone all the time can be really hard. So instead, I started creating challenges for myself to do new habits for 30 days, to try something new for a certain amount of time. And I realized that it was the easiest, fastest, most profound way to change. Most people want to change, but they don't know how. Challenges are the solution. And because they transformed my life, I decided to share it online with other people. I started creating challenges for like-minded people. And exactly 1 year ago is when I started my first challenge. I will show testimonials here to show that it did transform their lives. And since then, I am not going back. I realized that challenge has so much power. So if you're ready to actually transform, to stop making excuses and start taking ownership of your life, this is perfect for you. You will change. Now for the rest of the video, let me show you the table of content. I will go through the details of the whole challenge. It's important you listen so you know what you're getting yourself into. The challenge starts July 7th, 2025 up until August 17th, 2025. It's a 6 weeks challenge. And I host this challenge on the platform School. If you've never used School before, don't worry, it's super easy to navigate. That's why I love it. On there, you'll have the community calls, the daily check-ins, all the free PDFs and habit trackers. If you want to check it out already, it's the first link in my description. And then what this challenge will be about, it's basically 6 daily habits that you will have to do. But before I go into the details about what these habits are, let me tell you what the goal is and the 3 rules. The goal of the challenge will be to complete at least 4 out of 6 habits daily. The reason why I give only 4 out of 6 is because we can't achieve perfection. It's not possible. Doing 6 habits every single day for 6 weeks is not doable and realistic. That's why I'm giving the goal of aiming for 4 out of 6. If you do all 6 on some days, that's awesome. But try to aim for 4 and feel satisfied if you do 4. There are 3 rules associated with that. The first rule is that you are not allowed to skip more than 2 days in a row of a certain habit. So let's say you have the habit of drinking water first thing in the morning. If you skip day 1 and day 2, you have to do it on day 3. You can skip day 4 and 5 if you want as well, but you're going to have to do it on day 6. Now, the second rule is that you must track your habits every single day. You're not allowed to not have a habit tracker because the reason why people sometimes fail to keep up with their habits is because they do not see their progress. They do not see the work that they put in. But when you check off every single day, even when you miss a day, you have more ability to see where you're consistent, where you're lacking, what's hard for you, what's easy for you. It's kind of like gathering data. And you want that because it helps you with your accountability. Now, the third rule is something that is new, that we've never done before in my previous challenges. But I am forcing you to do a weekly check-in in the group. So a weekly check-in is basically you just have to show up on School and post something. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm going to give you some examples. So here I have a few people that are community leaders. They have been with the community for a long time, and they have a natural tendency to give check-ins. It's really easy for them to do it. And the reason why it's easy is because they know something that some other people don't. When they do check-ins, they're more likely to follow through. They're more likely to keep going because it kind of makes them feel responsible. When you check in, you're being honest with yourself and with others. You want to grow. And when you check in, you're able to connect with other people that are maybe going through similar struggles, or you may be able to celebrate with others your own achievements. They inspired me to bring in this rule because I realized that the people that check in the most within the community are the people that I have seen transform the most. So check-ins can be a wide range of things, but if you look at some examples here, you have Emma. She's going very simple. She's like 4 out of 4 habits done, checks them off, and that's it. That's good enough. That's perfectly fine. And those habits were previous challenge, so don't worry about that. But if you look at someone like Simpson, she might go a little bit more in details about what those habits meant for her on that day. But you can go completely different, like John or Brittany or Sherry, where you go more in length. You talk about insights, you respond to a journal prompt, you maybe share something that has happened to you throughout the day. Ultimately, showing up on the community only helps you because not only do you create better connections with other people, but a better connection to your future self because you are seeing yourself growing. Now, be excited because let me introduce you to the 6 habits of this challenge. Habit number 1 is to make your bed. I asked ChatGPT how many people actually make their bed, and it said that roughly 6 out of 10 adults regularly skip this small, easy task. And I'm one of them. So if you don't know my trajectory, in February, I changed teams. I moved from North Carolina to Utah. It was completely unpredictable and it came out of the blue. And so I got to this new apartment, and this new apartment, my bedroom is really buried in the back. It has no window. Like, I never really see my room. And for some reason, my lizard brain convinced myself that I didn't need to make my bed because I'd never have to see my bed unless I go to bed at night. But I am robbing myself from so much more than that. When you make your bed in the morning, you start the day with a win. You tell yourself that you're starting strong by already finishing up an accomplishment. You also build self-control because it requires some sort of discipline to do that. And you tell yourself, okay, I have this goal and I will check this off. And it creates this sort of structure for the rest of the day. It creates this momentum that you want to have. And then lastly, it's a way for you to respect your environment. When your bed is made, you're giving yourself space for your mind to be clear and be calm in this very chaotic world. If you already make your bed every single day, for example, I was telling my mom about this challenge. She's like, I already make my bed. Well, good for you. You can either skip this habit, you could either keep doing this habit and checking it off, or you can completely create a new habit of your own. At the end of the day, this is your life. You are free to do whatever you want. But there's a good chance that you still don't make your bed. So let's challenge ourselves for the next 6 weeks. Habit number 2 is to have a daily walk. A walk that you don't need to do, but you make yourself do it despite not having any reason to. I'm not saying like, oh, well, every morning I have to walk to my car. That's something that you have to do. Like, you can't get away from it. I'm talking about deliberately choosing to go on a walk when you have nothing forcing you to do it. There are 3 scenarios. I'm going to give you an example of a good time for you to go on a walk. It could be right after dinner. Let's say you finish eating and you have the tendency to just go on the couch and scroll through your phone. That could be the cue for you to go on a walk. And it's actually really good for you to walk after you eat because it's really good for your metabolism and your blood glucose. But I'm not going to bore you with all the health sciences here. You're going to figure out for yourself when is the best time for you to go on a walk. But after you eat is a good cue. Another good example would be the first thing in the morning. Maybe you wake up and you want to start the day strong when you have a lot of energy and you want to do things the right way. So you go on a walk to get sunlight and start the day with movement. That is awesome. And then finally, the third example I have for you is someone that is extremely relatable to my life. When I'm feeling overwhelmed, it's a good time for me to go on a walk. It could be also when you're unmotivated. But for me, sometimes I'm at my desk for hours and I have so many things going through my mind, things I need to do, and I'm almost paralyzed because I feel like there's no clear way for me to start doing something or start working on a specific project. In that case, if I just step away from my desk and just go on a walk, I realize that my mind clears, my stress goes away, and I come back into my space afterwards feeling rejuvenated, having a second wind. At this point, maybe you're wondering how long you should walk for. It doesn't matter. A walk is a walk, whether it's around the block or whether it's 2 miles, you just need to go outside and go for a walk. The point is, you need to pause in your day and you need to step outside and just reset your mind through forward movement. That is it. The third habit is journaling. Okay, I'm laughing because journaling has been part of every challenge I've put in there. There's rarely going to be a time where I'm not going to put journaling because it's one of the most powerful tools for self-awareness and growth. If there's any part of you that has followed me for a while and has admiration for some character traits that I have, the person I am today is because I have journaled so much. I've done it since I'm a kid. It's been very natural for me. And journaling is not only writing, it's a way for you to process, to reflect, to confront things. You cannot change what you don't understand, but journaling allows you to understand you better. It makes you slow down and go through the mental clutter of what's going on here and putting it on paper and analyze and see, is this what's going on here aligned to who I'm becoming? This whole challenge overall is not about just habits. It's about living in alignment to the person you want to become. And journaling is necessary for you to stay on track, to remind yourself, is what I'm doing right now keeping me on track to where I want to go? Is this the right direction? Now, journaling can be whatever you want it to be. There's only one requirement for that, is that you need to be honest. There's no point of lying when you journal. So as long as you're honest, you're going to make progress. You're going to find breakthroughs. But if you have a hard time figuring out what to journal about, don't worry. I give you a journal prompt every single day on school. And basically, I'll just send you a question and you will have to answer on a journal. Now, the fourth habit might be the most complicated one, but it can be very transformative. You need to eliminate one bad food habit. You're going to have to reflect on your own eating patterns and choose one bad food habit that you're going to work on daily. And there might be tons of things in your nutrition that you want to change, but this challenge only asks you to choose one that you will pick for the 6 weeks. And no one's nutrition is perfect. Look, I'm a professional athlete and I still don't have perfect nutrition. It's really hard. But it's gotten better and better over time by being mindful about what my eating patterns are. I assume that there has to be something that comes to your mind that you want to change about your eating. But if you have a hard time, don't worry about that either, because I will give you a list provided on school again that will go through tons of bad food habits and solutions to it and how you can change that. I will give you a list because there is so many ways that we can improve. And that is not something to make you feel depressed. This is exciting because nutrition is so important. What you eat affects how you feel, and how you feel affects what you do. So for you to have actual solutions to work on is exciting because you're only going to feel better. And if you feel better, life is just going to be so much sweeter. So everyone's nutrition journey is different. That's why I'm not picking the specific food habit that you need to change, because everyone's different. Your job is going to figure out before the challenge what you want to work on and commit to it throughout the full 6 weeks. Now, if you want to let your mind mingle a little bit with it, I'm going to give you a few examples here of bad eating habits that you can pause the video and look through just in case you need some inspiration right now. But let's move on to the fifth habit. Habit number 5 is to clean your kitchen every single night. You need a clean kitchen reset. And each day with a clean kitchen where you wipe your counters, clear your dishes, and just reset that space. I think this is a very powerful habit. And that's because every single time I go to bed knowing that my space is clean and organized, it just sets the tone for the next day. Your environment reflects your mind. So if your environment is chaotic, your mind will be chaotic. So I'm not going all in where I'm saying clean your whole apartment every single day, but start with your kitchen. This is a space that should be sacred to you. And that small act can reinforce so much more, like discipline. It can reinforce order. It can create momentum. And again, I talk a lot about these challenges with my mom because my mom is very similar to me, and she thought that this was such a good idea because she understands that when she goes to bed and she knows that there's no dishes in the sink and her kitchen is clean, you just feel better. Waking up to a clean kitchen just feels different. It tells yourself, I respect my space and myself. So make sure you tidy up every single night before you go to bed. And this leads us to our final and sixth habit. No screen before bed. The rule is simple. Bed is for sleep. No phone, no TV, no screen, no scrolling while you are in bed. And the reason is sleep is your most valuable resource to recover. And a lot of times you have a difficulty navigating your problems on a daily basis because you're simply tired. We need to fix your sleep schedule because once your sleep schedule is fixed, everything else improves. And one of the main reasons why people's sleep schedule is so messed up is because they're on their phone or they're watching TV while they're in bed. Look, maybe this feels very uncomfortable for you because maybe that's a deep ingrained habit. But just commit to this for 6 weeks and just give yourself time to see how it changes your life. I don't care if you're on the phone right next to your bed, but once you hit the sheets, it's time to slow down, to be screen-free. Maybe you journal, maybe you read, maybe you meditate, maybe you pray, but no screens allowed. So to summarize, you have these 6 habits. You have make your bed in the morning, daily walk, journal, eliminate a food habit, clean your kitchen every single night, and then no screen before bed. And remember, your goal is to do 4 out of these 6 every single day. And you cannot miss more than 2 days in a row of a habit. There's only one expectation here. It's all about progress, not perfection. Why do you think I give you 4 out of 6 habits? Why do you think I give you 2 buffer days? It's because I'm realistic. I know that life happens. And even sometimes you might be traveling and things are out of order. You might skip a day, but you'll realize these habits can be done anywhere. But I'm giving you some grace. You will fail. And that's good because when you fail, it's an opportunity to build yourself back up and to prove to yourself that despite making mistakes, you will not give up. This is where a character is built. Your character is not built by being perfect because that is not realistic. Your character is built by failing but picking yourself up again and trying again. So sometimes you'll eat the junk food. Sometimes you'll leave the kitchen a mess. Sometimes you'll leave in the morning without making your bed. That's okay. That's life. But you showing up imperfectly but consistently will make you make progress. It's inevitable. You will evolve. And no matter what, no matter imperfect you're going to be, you're not going to waste this summer. You're not going to coast through the summer with no standards, no intention, no structure. You will be doing things differently. So if you want to be built different, you got to do different. And what an opportunity to go on into this challenge. And I want to show you this little graph here because this graph is really just a good representation of how progress is not perfect. Progress has highs and lows, but your ability to keep going over time is what's going to make you become the person you want to be. Now, finally, I'm going to talk to you about the prize. So the prize for this challenge is when you finish at the end of the 6 weeks in the top 10, you'll enter the chance to win a one-on-one life coaching session with me. And through that session, we talk about your own personal goals. I give you my undivided attention and we will problem solve together. A lot of people have found that very valuable, so I'm excited to give that for you. And if you want to be in the top 10, all you have to do is to engage. It's all about engagement within the community. The more you engage, the higher you rank. And the way you engage is by voting in polls, by sharing insights, commenting, supporting others, post your daily check-ins. You will see how much more not only you will make progress, but you will be involved and you will be respected throughout the community. So I hope this prize excites you, because it definitely excites me. So if you're ready to participate in this self-improvement challenge this summer, you can sign up in the first link in my description. This is where the private community is, where the free PDFs, courses, resources, habit trackers, community calls, everything is on the community. And remember, we start July 7th, so there is still time for you to join. Remember, I love this mantra. You gotta do different to be built different. So tackle this summer with BDE, build different energy. Don't get it twisted. And watch yourself evolve. Now, thank you so much for your interest in personal growth. You and I are very similar, and I welcome you in our community. I love you so much, and I will see you very soon. Mwah.